The justice for Young Dolph is on its way. There's been an arrest made that's close to the situation. They say that it was a person who dropped Young Dolph's location, and they think it might be Yogotti, they think it might be Moneybagg, and they think it might be one of the workers from the cookie shop. So what they realized was that as soon as Young Dolph came into Memphis that day, he was being followed by a group of people. They were driving everywhere he was driving to. How did they know what kind of car Young Dolph had? How did they know where he was going to be at, what time? All these details. Somebody had to have actually been following him and dropping the location. They were working with a lot of people. I want to send my condolences to Young Dolph family. If you guys are supporters of Young Dolph and you want to get justice, go ahead and comment "Long Live Young Dolph," LLYD. Put the dolphin emoji in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe, because now they're getting to the nitty and gritty of this whole thing. The meat and potatoes of this is that Yogotti, his crew, everybody that was paid to actually try to set up Young Dolph, and everybody who dropped his location and followed him, they're all getting taken down, and it's happening one by one. They're going to each individual person and they're interrogating them. They're asking the questions. They just double back to ask the same questions to see who's going to stick to the same story and who's changing their story this time. All of the people that stuck to the same story, they're going to come in for another interview. But all the people who changed their stories and at first said one thing and then now they're actually contradicting themselves, they're the people who's being closely looked at, because they think that they caught the cookie shop people in a web of a whole lot of conflicting stories. Because at first they said Young Dolph was in the shop and they didn't know he was going to be there, and that he randomly popped up out of nowhere early in the morning as soon as they opened. But then we came to find out that they actually were supposed to do a music video at that same cookie shop, and Young Dolph was supposed to be there with his artists and his security and his brother and everything like that. So where did Young Dolph artists go? How come nobody showed up to do the music video shoot? This is what everybody was worried about, because then that means Young Dolph, his location was given away by somebody that knew the music video was going on. And the people that knew the video that was going on, why would they even drop his location in the first place? Why would they even want to actually go out there and say, yeah, we know Young Dolph is coming here and you could do this and that and it could be a lick and all that? The only reason why they would do that is if they had some sort of connection and some sort of loyalty to Yogotti. Remember what they said back in the beginning of all this, that the cookie shop girl Raven, she said she wanted to be on Yogotti's team. She wanted to be a manager. She wanted to be a part of CMG no matter what she had to do, including if it meant having to drop the location on where everybody was going to be at that day. And it's a surprise that none of Young Dolph artists showed up at the music video, because did they know something that we didn't know? Did they know Young Dolph was being set up? Because by the looks of it, how is it that the people in the Bentley truck, Yogotti, Moneybagg, Blac Youngsta, all of them people show up to the scene riding by to look to see if it was Young Dolph? But by the time Keyglock got there, it was too late. Where was Big Moochie Grape and where was Snoop Bands? Big Moochie Grape knew that he was supposed to come to the location of the video shoot. Why did he change his address for the turkey drive? Why was Young Dolph there alone? And his brother was the only other person that knew where to go and show up to. When Young Dolph brother was trying to get a hold of him, he called everybody else and they told him, yeah, he must be at the cookie shop. And then he said, are y'all there yet? And Snoop Band stopped answering. Big Moochie Grape stopped answering. Once Young Dolph brother knew that he was there alone, he quickly rushed to the scene. He was all the way on Elvis Presley, and he rushed to Airways to try to assist Young Dolph. By the time he got there, he noticed that it was a lot of funky stuff going on. That back door was wide open. Once he walked inside there, it was like 20 people up inside that cookie shop. As soon as he walked in, somebody tried to swing at him or whatever with a whole wooden plank. Then then the witness 007 says she heard a whole lot of noise. It sounded like somebody was fighting inside the cookie shop. It was a whole tussle going on in there. The next thing you know, they heard the rounds going off. Everybody hit the ground. Once 007 got back up, she says she seen two dudes walking out the side. One of the dudes had the dreads with the tank top. And she said he had a baseball jersey, all this sort of stuff. How come nobody else seen that? Why is it that all the hundreds of people that was in front, they never seen what the real witness saw? They turned a blind eye to a lot of the stuff, man, because the people in Memphis that's close to the situation, they know they don't want to get in between the beef of Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, because look what that's continued to spill off into the streets. Blac Youngsta's brother gets hit up. Govan's daughter gets hit up. Yo Gotti's own brother gets hit up. Now it's getting close to the actual people who had problems with Young Dolph, to the people who were part of the beef. And this is why we've been advocating for Young Dolph, and we've been saying we need to bring the peace to all of Memphis. We need to bring the peace to the whole community, because everybody got to start getting along, man. It can't be to where it's crab in the barrel mentality. Young Dolph don't want to go and sign with Yo Gotti. They could have been getting millions of dollars and left each other alone. And so this is what people are saying. Why did they go through the lengths that they went through to try to get Young Dolph out? You got to understand there was a lot of envy, jealousy, greed. The money blinded them. They were hypnotized by hate. Everywhere they went, people were talking about Young Dolph. They seen Young Dolph billboards. They seen the camo wrap cars. Then they started doing it too. Next thing you know, it was a big competition in Memphis, because you got to understand, look at all the talent. Look at all the artists that's coming out of Memphis. They all were going to go to Young Dolph. And this is why Yo Gotti was salty, because he wanted to have a piece of the pie. He realized he turning 50 years old. He getting old and everything now. And so this was his moment, because Young Dolph was the king of Memphis. And all the other people in Memphis that thought they had some status, they wanted Young Dolph's spot. They wanted his opportunity. They wanted to be called the king of Memphis. They've lived there so long. They put in a lot of work in the streets and wherever else they put in work at. And so they thought, oh man, you know what? Young Dolph can't be the king of Memphis. This is what they thought. This is the type of hypnotized by hate. This is the jealousy and the envy that they had against this man. Young Dolph was a role model in the community. He did a lot of giving back, and that's what they should have been doing too. But the karma is gonna come and catch up with a lot of people from this, because they can't run and hide forever. Once the feds hit him with the Rico and they subpoena everybody to show up to the trial, and they go and actually raid each and every person who's involved in this, they've got so many suspects that ended up giving up Yo Gotti and his brother and Govan as the masterminds of the whole operation. Once they get all their ducks in a row, the feds are going to bring Yo Gotti and Moneybagg in. They're going to review the footage and point out how they were in the Bentley truck. They're going to point out everything that's been said, because what you got to understand is that they're not going to leave any rock unturned. They're going to look at everything and try to get the justice for Young Dolph, because they could all get bonuses for solving this. They're going to end up getting way more raises and everything like that. Now the whole world is watching to see what they're gonna do, because they've been watching Yo Gotti for a long time. Once Blac Youngsta said what he said he didn't care about MPD. He didn't care about the feds, that he was gonna go crash out anyways. Once they heard that coming out of Blac Youngsta's mouth, they were no longer going to let anything slide anymore. And this is where they started to actually hit CMG hard for this whole thing. And they started looking into Yo Gotti and connecting the dots to see what did they actually, who did what in setting up Young Dolph, because they know Young Dolph got set up. And so now they're figuring the whole thing out, and they're going to get the justice, because the karma, it got the people who got caught red-handed, man.